What's up, friend? Hector here from StrongestHec.com. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one little hack that you can add to your training that you're probably not doing, and that is being intentional with your training, especially with your kettlebells, okay? So one of the reasons you may not be being intentional is because you're a busy guy, right? So you're following more of these like punch the clock style workouts, like you're grabbing your bell or bells, getting in the volume, getting the reps, the sets, and then, finishing off with maybe a little bit of recovery and then moving on with your day, all right? So, but this little hack that I'm gonna show you in today's video is gonna make your training more efficient, okay? And it's also gonna open up opportunities for muscle building, okay? So aside from eating and making sure, and you're eating a certain way, coupled with your training, to basically open up the floodgates and increase muscle building opportunities, you need to keep your body under tension, right? And so that's really the key when it comes to building muscle with a pair of kettlebells, is staying under tension and being intentional and staying under tension. Imagine that. So being intentional with your training, this is one strength strategy to get you to that point, all right? So this little hack, if you will, that I'm going to be showing you a snippet of my training, basically does two things. One, it allows you to become more self-aware of your technique, because the better your technique is, the more efficient you're going to be, which means you can lift more weight, do more volume, get more load in, which ultimately overloads the system and then basically opens up the opportunities for muscle building. Okay, again, aside from eating, from the strength training side, this is what opens that up, all right? The second thing that it does is it accelerates your strength, okay? Because you're basically pressing from a dead position. I like to consider this like an overhead deadlift, okay? So instead of like cleaning the bells up right away and then going right into the press, you're actually gonna pause and you're gonna go through like a checklist and making sure that certain things are on point, right? Making sure that your glutes are tight. Make sure you're pulling your kneecaps up. Make sure your grips are in the right position. Make sure you're grabbing the floor. Like, you're gonna go through these little checks and balances and to make sure that they're all on point. So once you clean the bells up, you're gonna allow all that energy to dissipate, which is gonna make it harder for you to press because you don't have that momentum. So this comes in very handy if you're if you don't have a large kettlebell selection, right? Maybe you've only got one pair, or maybe you've only got two pairs. And the second pair is something that you really can't do a lot of pressing volume with. Maybe you're mostly using them for swings or something like that. So this little strength tactic, when you apply it the right way, you're gonna be able to increase your strength without having to go up a bell size, all right? So I'm gonna take you into a little small snippet of my training. So I just finished up one of our beta programs, and I'm diving, it's been a couple of years since I've really focused on my press, my kettlebell press. I've been able to maintain it pretty much through other, training modalities, but I haven't really focused on it intentionally. This video is about intention, so I haven't really focused on it intentionally to build it, to what have you. And it's all based around the double clean and press, which in my opinion is the number one pound for pound best double kettlebell exercise on the planet. So if your goal is to build strength, improve endurance without having to do cardio, open up opportunities for muscle building, the clean and press can be pretty much your one-stop shop, and it's other variations. So you've got clean and press, you've got clean and push press, you've got clean and jerk. Any of those variations are pound for pound the best thing that you can be doing, okay? Because you get a good blend of what I call a hybrid. You get a good blend of a ballistic exercise, which can boost growth hormone, and then you get the grind exercise, the press, and that can boost testosterone. So you get a perfect combination of both of those, and this actually passes what I call the TRT filter. So I follow a very specific, what I call a TRT workout system, which is any program I'm going to consider doing, any exercise or workout I'm going to consider doing, it has to pass this TRT filter, which stands for time saving. Okay, so I need to make sure I can get this done relatively short, 30 minutes or less. It needs to be result stacking, meaning that the ability for me to overload the system I don't have to work out every single day. So the results can keep piling on and stacking on each other without me having to work out every day. And so through the technique, through what you're going to see me being intentional with today's training, it passes that filter. And the next part is it needs to be testosterone boosting. So something that boosts my testosterone. So having some kind of grind aspect blended into the training, which is what the press is all about. Okay, so today's session also passes my TRT filter. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what I'm basically diving into. I'm actually restarting Press Plan 801A, which is from our BJJ Strength Secrets program, and it's all based around the double clean and press. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And there you have it, friend, being more intentional with your training. So you notice that every time I cleaned the bells into the rack position, I paused, I settled in, I made sure my kneecaps were pulled up. Each set, each rep, I was really dialing in and focusing on like one specific aspect of the press. So don't try to overload yourself, try to get everything perfect all at one time. Like each set, aim to perfect one aspect. So when I cleaned up one pair of bells, I was like, okay, are my glutes on? Are my kneecaps pulled up? Then I executed the presses. The next set or the next repetition was like, okay, you know, is my grip in the right spot? So you saw me had to like kind of readjust my grip because on that one clean, it didn't feel like I was in the optimal position to get a really good grip on the bells. So on that set, on that rep, I actually got my hand a little bit too deep, which would have been for an entirely different exercise. So, you know, getting my grip on point and thought repetition, knocking out that rep. The next rep, am I grabbing the floor with my feet? You know, am I corkscrewing from the bottom all the way up through my midsection up and punching through my fist? So that is, you know, that being intentional in each and every repetition is going to do wonders for your, not only your kettlebell technique, but it's also going to give you, like I said, the opportunities for muscle building because you're holding the bells a lot longer. So you're staying under tension longer, and that's what's going to open up your opportunities for muscle building, okay? Obviously, coupled with making sure you're getting the right volume, you know, etc. But as far as the conditioning aspect, also, you're getting tons of great endurance work in without having to train endurance. So I always track my heart rate while I'm training, and my average heart rate for that session, and by no means was this like even taxing for me. Like I could have followed that session. I probably could have done that session for at least an hour at that rate that I was doing. So I was averaging about one set every 2 minutes roughly, because that session took me right at 30 minutes, including all of my rest periods. So right at 30 minutes, and it was a 1-3 ladder for 7 ladders, which is roughly like 14 total sets, because each ladder has 2 sets. So it's roughly like 14 total sets. So about 2 minutes every ladder, I was done right at the 30-minute mark with my last rest period. So at the 28-minute mark, I started the last set, finished it, and then I went ahead and added another 2 minutes of rest after that. So it took me exactly 30 minutes on the dot, and my average heart rate was like 120 something. At the peak of the ladder, again, cleaning, holding, pressing, re-cleaning, holding, you know, just going through that, my heart rate at the end of that, top of that ladder, my heart rate was like 150 something, 155, which is roughly like 85% of my current max heart rate. So again, just being very intentional when you're holding the bells overhead, being very intentional when you're pausing in the rack position, making sure everything is dialed in, is going to do wonders for your, obviously your kettlebell technique, but the results that you're going to be getting after. So it's going to be time saving. It's going to be result stacking because of the amount of tension that you're keeping your body under. It's going to boost your strength levels because you're pressing from a dead position. Again, I call this like the overhead deadlift, like an overhead deadlift. And then it's going to be testosterone boosting because you're getting in a perfect blend of a ballistic and a grind, which is going to boost GH, which is going to boost testosterone levels. So that was my session yesterday, and that's something I'm going to be focusing on for the next 8 weeks. And I'm actually using a lighter pair of bells for this. So in the video last night, I believe I did 32 kilo bells, which by no means is anywhere near like my maximum. So, and the reason for that is because I'm going to be holding the bells for longer than I normally would. Instead of cleaning them, pressing them, like I could probably easily do that session with 36s and 40s, but that's not the goal. That's not the intention. The intention is to be intentional with my technique, intentional with patience, and really dialing everything in. And you're going to be amazed at where that, like I said, where that takes your technique, but most importantly, the results that you're going to get from that. So give that a try. You know, go through some like you can. I'm going to put the description here below. So if you want to try the program that I did, the workout that I did last night, which is a 1-3 ladder, give it a try. Put into action and let me know how it goes. You'll need to use a pair that's 1 or 2 sizes lighter than you normally press with. But if you only have 1 pair of bells, just use that. But just be more intentional with each and every repetition. All right, give that a try. Let me know how that goes. If you're enjoying the videos, be sure to subscribe somewhere here in the corners. You can check out some of my other videos and be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date with all the latest stuff that I'm putting out. So that's all I got for you today. Hector with StrongAsHeck.com. I guess this would be a technique of the week.